need to invest in that with God. Our relationship with God is like any other relationship. A husband and wife that don't put in their relationship, a father and son, a mother and a daughter, two friends. If you don't invest in the relationship will break down and decompose. The Talmud learns from this week's Torah portion that it is a complete Torah prohibition to initiate, join, in any way, shape, or form, mahloket, disagreement. This is the Talmud, Masechet Sanhedrin. This is what Reish Lakish says. And Rav continues on the Talmud and he says, you know what the source is to this prohibition? It's from chapter 17, verse 5 in our Torah portion. It says, Velo yeh Korach v'cha'adato. Do not be like Korach and his rebellion, who mustered up and started a machloket. The verse continues, Kasher diber Hashem, as God spoke to us and taught us this story, biyad Moshe lo. Obviously, through the hand of Moses, through Moses teaching it to us and writing it in the Torah. So again, don't be like Korach and his surrounding, who involved in machloket, fighting and disagreement, as God said, in the name, or better yet, in the hand of Moses, by the hand of Moses. The Talmud continues, and Rav Ashi says, very interesting terminology of in the hand of Moses. It should be like Moses said. So he says, you know what? Let's make a correlation between the word hand over here and hand elsewhere. That anybody who involves themselves in machloket, in disagreement and argument, deserves tzarat, deserves leprosy. Where do we see so? If we go to chapter 4, verse 6 in Exodus, in Shemot, when Moses and God are having the back and forth and the negotiation of even accepting to be the leader of the Jewish people, the messenger, God tells Moses, now bring your hand to your chest. What does Moses do? The yad, the hand of Moses, puts it in his chest. What comes out? Leprosy, tzarat. And what does it say here? Biyad Moshe lo, also in the hand of Moses. Rav Ashi in the Talmud learns there's a correlation. There's a correlation between tzarat, leprosy, and arguments. Machloket. Anyone who is involved in arguments deserves and is going to be unfortunately awarded with leprosy. Zera Shimshon says, well, okay, very nice. The Torah went out of its way to say hand over here and hand over there, but what's the connection? Why? We know leprosy is normally for lashon hara, and we spoke about that then. But what does leprosy and machloket have to do with one another? Zera Shimshon answers and says, every human being is created, as we know, b'tselem Elokim, in the image of God. When a person hurts another human being, when a person insults or wages machloket, disagreement with another human being, in essence, they're doing so directly with God. And what happens is you end up going against God and disrespecting God and telling God, God, you've done something wrong with this individual. I have a disagreement. I have a machloket. They're not acting the right way. It's against God. Indirectly, yet directly at the same time. What happens is, when one goes against God, God puts them aside. It's very sad. God, more, and more. What happens to a mitzora, a person who has leprosy, a leper? They are moved aside. They're put in seclusion. The Onkelos Hager, who translated our Torah in Aramaic, he composed it. He translates the word mitzora in Aramaic as segira. Segira means to be closed, put aside. And therefore, that is the exact purpose of one who, again, uses their tongue and has lashon and speaks lashon hara, but also to a leper. And that's why the Zera Shimshon says, one who wages machloket, one who causes disagreement, is really going in disagreement and machloket with God, and that now puts them aside, makes them, and that's why they get leprosy, because they're going to get pushed aside. Metzorah, pushed aside. Segira, closed, pushed aside. Unfortunately, not only away from their fellow brothers and sisters, but also from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's very important for us all to know that nobody wins in a machloket. Whenever there's a fight, both sides lose. And we learn this from Moses' greatness. Even though he was punished, as we said, with the way he rebuked, Ravlach, okay, fine. But if we look at the way the Torah says it, it says, Lo yeche Korach v'chadato. And even earlier on, it says that the machloket is between Korach and his people. It doesn't say the machloket is between Korach and Moshe. Moshe gave nothing to it. He didn't even think something was going on. Something went on. When it got to the last point, he said, let's go to God with it. He didn't fuel the fight. He didn't fuel the machloket, the disagreement. He said there was no disagreement. Nothing's wrong. So what was the disagreement? The disagreement was between them. Anytime anyone enters a disagreement, it's over. Each of them, Korach thought he was going to be the leader. And you know what? All the other 250 men thought they were going to be the one who replaces Moshe Rabbeinu. The greed got to them. They all thought they were going to be the man. The struggle and the machloket was between them against Moses. But Moses wasn't against them because Moses didn't feed it at all. Something we could learn. Someone starts up. Someone wants to wage machloket, wants to start a disagreement. As hard as it is, don't feed it and it won't grow. Something to work on, something we can all use, something we learn from Moshe's ultimate humility, his reason why he was elected to be the leader of the Jewish people, the messenger, the deliverer of the Jewish people. It's up to us to try to be as close as possible, to raise ourselves as much as possible, to be like Moshe Rabbeinu. Amen.